welcome to Gentleman Gaming. My name is Richard Hughes, and to my left is really a guy that needs no introduction. Probably the most underrated Warhammer player in the
tallest.
Well, come on. Underrated Warhammer player. He's won Adepticon, Nova. He's got over 20 years experience. He's played with Team USA for about 9 years. Older than some people that are playing this current game. And he's almost won LVO. Mr. Brad Chester, how are you, sir?
I'm still too soon. Second, third, and fourth. I am the full gamut of not winning LVO. That tournament continues to elude me. Well, let's talk about some stuff, bro. Let's talk about some stuff. We got everything. I mean, we barely got any info dropped on us today. We only got a FAQ for every single army in the game. Mm-hmm. We've got kind of the codexes out. For us mere mortals, we'll be working off what everybody's shown us. But we got some game breakers on this stuff. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right. So today we wanted to go through kind of the new stuff, the hot topic stuff. So take it away, Brad. What are our first thoughts?
I'm super big about a lot of stuff. I mean, you've got things like Sixman Eradicators, which I think are actually really helpful. The best part about Sixman Eradicators isn't Sixman Eradicators. I will literally never have them in a 6-man unit, but it effectively opens up a heavy slot for me. So instead of taking 3x3 like in my Salamanders list, I'll take a 6 and 3, you know what I mean? Opening up a heavy slot. So maybe I want to slide one of those other news in there. Yeah. So I think that's a big deal. Just the larger squads themselves are basically making it so you're not taking that extra detachment to get your fourth heavy and stuff like that. Those are small things, but they make a big difference. You know what I mean? Instead of taking that patrol, you've got 2 more CP to work with sometimes, and or you can just go buck wild and go Codex Eradicator if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's a big thing because you can get those Gravis units now. I'm really leaning towards a lot of T5 stuff. Like, for instance, in my newest Salamander builds is that, hot in the lab here. Clearly in the lab making new lists every day. I think that's one of my big wins right there, is the fact that I can go towards more and more. I mean, you could go towards, I think they were a little bit too priced, but the heavy intercessors, I can make an entire T5 army. So I think that's a big deal on that. I think one of the biggest, we were talking about it before we went live, Sanguinor basically being able to deep strike into a heroic intervention is nuts.
Yeah.
Everybody's upset because VA went from 50 strats to 4, literally 4 strats. I mean, obviously everybody's whining, but you still have every single strat that's in the Marine Codex. You just lost all your movement, your shenanigans ones. They lost the 3d6 charge. They lost the, being able to pick up a unit and place it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they gained everything that Marines. They also gained all the units that are in the Marines that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest things on that is Sanguinor. Sanguinor can, if he's off the board on Deep Strike, if you're charged, he can heroically intervene into that combat off board. He's a badass. The only thing he really lost at all is he no longer buffs +1 attack. He buffs +1 attack, but he doesn't buff +1 attack with shock assault. So he basically is any round that's not the first round of combat. Yeah. He continues to get plus. But dude, literally just putting him off board, and it's for free. You don't have to spend any CP for it because he can use Descent of Angels. He can just be put off, and that's insane. Someone comes into you, boom. There's the Sanguinor with crushing you out with 6 attacks, strength 6. That's a huge deal. Another thing that what I think was a really big deal, Sanguinary Guard. Sanguinary Guard went down in points. Sanguinary Guard at 30 points now with the sword. I think the sword and the axe are both the same, and then Power Fists are only 5. So effectively, if you put the Power Fist on them, they're 1 point more than they were before. But if you're running them as you would have originally, just with axe or sword, they're actually 4 points less, and they gained an attack. So I think that they're actually big winners on that. I think that BA, everybody's a little upset about them at first. I mean, obviously losing all of your strats and a lot of other things are going to be a big thing. Now, to make sure that everybody knows exactly how it works, because a lot of people don't know how it's going on right now. So effectively what you have is the Marine book. Everything's in the Marine book.
Mm-hmm.
And then your particular chapter-specific supplements, Ultramarines, White Scars, Salamanders, all of those kind of things, they're all active. They're exactly the way they were before. You're just using that supplement still. But what you're not using is their Psychic Awakenings. So Marines are not using their Psychic Awakening because their Psychic Awakening was either rolled into the Marine book itself or it's in the FAQ. For instance, the Dark Angels FAQ is 25 pages long because they gave you an entire indexed army basically to work off that.
So you kind of went to the Blood Angels winners. So what other winners are there in the New World?
I'm super excited. I think Dark Angels. I was already getting a Salamander / Dark Angels army because I want to be able to get the best of both worlds. But I'm super excited about it. One, we have Vanguard Veterans getting the Deathwing keyword, which means they can use all their aura abilities. But then the biggest thing, Inner Circle. Inner Circle says a couple bad things and one super insanity good thing. So they effectively can't fall back if they're fighting anybody fallen, and they can't fall back unless they basically roll over leadership.
When are you ever going to see a fallen army?
Exactly. That's what I said. But the thing is basically you're probably not going to fall back. Right. You know what I mean? I just don't care about that.
Yeah.
But if the trade-off is, in my melee army, I can't fall back. Oh no! But you know what I can do? Not get wounded on anything besides a 4, 5, or 6, no matter what the modifiers are. They have built-in transhuman on anyone that's Inner Circle. That means anyone that, I gotta state this because I'll get yelled at by some people. I already have because I keep saying it wrong because I keep ignoring it. Anybody that's infantry that's Inner Circle is basically always has transhuman on them. And that is crazy. You couple that up with, the Feel No Pain on it for like a Deathwing Ancient. So you're looking at guys, and the Storm Shield's huge for those guys.
Yeah.
So they're now sitting at a 1-up save, 4-up invuln, can't be wounded except for 4 or 5 6s, and then 5-up Feel No Pain on top of that. That's nasty. And that's a unit that's hitting everybody at strength 8 doing flat 3 damage.
Yeah.
That's a big win for that. I think a lot of people were down on Dark Angels because they were playing a lot of the Raven Wing type armies, the Talon Masters and stuff like that. I think that Dark Angels, I already was pushing towards this army. I was already making this army without knowing this particular piece. I think that basically free transhuman is going to be unbelievably really durable.
Good. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's just you just take the middle and you crush out. It's just so big on that.
Yeah.
It's such a huge win when you're talking about just sheer durability. You know what I mean? And you want to talk about a general winner? I've never been a big fan of apothecaries, but the apothecary got changed, so the base one is pretty good. Gives everybody a 6-up Feel No Pain around him, but you're gonna pay those points, and I love the change to that. I love not turning up CP. Now it's just points because my CP are golden. I need to spend those in game. But the apothecary now can take Chief Apothecary, so he can heal for flat 3 now to 2 different things. But it also gives him he can use the stratagem to bring a model back with full wounds for 0 CP.
Yeah, that's really good.
So, talk about combos. Hey man, I'm gonna bring these ATV bikes. They have 8 wounds apiece.
Oh my God.
I lost one. I'm gonna spend 0 CPs to get a bam. There's my bike back with 8 wounds. You're like, how'd your turn go? You're like, little tears running down your eye.
I can do Necrons better than you, bro.
Well, I'm gonna, we'll go into that after. This is a day 1. We can do Marines, we can do Krons.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I actually think that Krons are going to be, they're going to change the meta more than the Marine book because I think that Marines are just changing. You know what I mean? They're still just good. They're top tier. They're still just good. I don't think they lost any power level. Some people are upset about this or this. I mean, But I think that they're going to stay where they are, which is basically a top tier army. It's just going to be a slightly different army. Another army that I think actually got a lot of mojo. People are a little bit upset about this and that, but because they haven't got the Woofing got pretty hit. Sorry, Woofing. Until you get because they lost advance and charge. They don't have Swift Claw, but the army wide heroic intervention is such a big deal. I think that people aren't understanding just how huge it is that you can heroic intervene your army for free, and then you and the Blood Angels both have access to, or just everybody has access to 6-inch heroic intervention for units themselves through their strats.
I mean, the Space Wolves, sure, they don't get their everything's obsec, but let's be honest, we all knew
that was never going to happen. That already got nuked anyways before this even came out.
Right.
So. But that was a couple weeks of what the hell. Well, speaking of everything OBSEC, the Krons. Whew.
All right, let's save for other weeks.
We'll save it for the other week. I got off topic because I got so excited about things that changed.
We went through Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Space Whoops. So who else?
I'm Woofing. I think my Sallies are at a great position right now. Master Artisan I knew was going to get hit. It's now no longer a hit and a wound reroll. It's just the wound, which I'm fine with, to tell you the truth. What I'm actually really excited from a gameplay, it's going to change how you play things and how you reserve, is the fact that rerolls are coming, like you do full rerolls and things of that nature, in your command phase. So something has to be on the board for you to do it, because you choose something in your command phase to get full rerolls. So if you're doing the Chapter Master ability, Vulcan's ability, you have to actually choose something that's on the board in the command phase to give it to. So you can't actually give it to something that comes in reserve. Right. You still got your auras of reroll ones, but whoever you give those full rerolls to, be it yourself, a lot of these things can be chosen for characters though. So you can actually put that buff on a character. You can do different buffs from your chaplains, your chapter masters, your whoever, mostly our core. So you're going to need the core keyword. I think it's really big. Most of my lists were already kind of in that vein, but you're going to get a lot of things that only work on core, and they're going to work on core or characters. And so you can actually get rerolls, but you're going to have to put that on him in the beginning of the command phase. A lot of things are going towards doing something in the command phase. And I think that's actually a really big deal, because it changes how. And I don't think it really changes their power level. I just think it makes that you're going to have to plan your turns more than you did before. Mm-hmm. So right now you can just walk over and then just give full rerolls to everybody. So it's a little less powerful, but it's also more of a tactical decision. So I don't not like that, using the double negative on it. I think it's more of a I've been pushing for it. So I mean, it's a little bit of a nerf, but in the end, I enjoy using more points instead of CP to do all these things. I think that they got really, really good. I love the chaplain on a bike. I mean, we all knew he was coming. They basically gave him the ad months ago, basically.
I mean, we're not getting the +2 toughness anymore, right? So we have to get it from somewhere else. They don't get the Warlord trait, so yeah. Yeah,
it gets the Warlord trait. The Warlord trait's in the book.
Oh.
The Salamander, again, the Salamander book, Ultramarines book, White Scars.
Then what do we need to worry about?
We have nothing to worry about. My Salamander list barely changes. You know what I think is a really big pickup? I've been saying it for a while. I think Vanguard Veterans. I think any of the units that can really move and shake and have, for 25 points right now, you can take a Vanguard Veteran with a jump pack and a Storm Shield, 2+, 4+. Then he's got the Astartes Chainsword now, so you're looking at 4 attacks in the charge at AP -1, and it's just a durable unit that's fast. And the thing is I've been actually moving most of my armies to have more and more incorporating more fast elements, because you just need more things that can engage those middle objectives to kick people off. You don't need to kill your opponent's entire army, but you do need to kill people that are standing on objectives.
Yeah.
That's why I just think it's so important that you have these quick elements in your army, and I think that's a big winner with the +1. I mean, we've kind of blown it. I didn't even say it, but that's a big winner. Two wound, yes, Marines. Biggest loser right now, Scouts.
Yeah, womp womp. So put those old skills.
What
Oh.
one wound went to elites. Sorry guys. Weirdly enough, I haven't been playing with them in a couple months. It's almost like I saw into the future.
So let's go back to the Vanguard with jump hacks. So there's a stratagem in the new book that's pretty alright. Hammer of Wrath.
Smashing into folks, man. It's
Yeah.
actually legit now. It used to be terrible. Now it's actually pretty decent, man. Like
Yeah.
you can do a decent amount of damage with that. And the thing is that I don't know if I'll make that a staple though, because of the fact that there's just still so many good. Depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I could actually see that. And we were playing over the weekend, Saturday's games. We were playing, and we had one of the guys, Gino, was running Ultramarines, and he just because of the Scryer's Gaze and half those special characters all give 2 or 3 extra CP. It felt like he had CP galore. And I actually think that if you have a bushel of CPs and ways to regen them, that you could actually spam a lot of these things like Hammer Wrath and stuff like that and get a really good return for your investment on those armies that have a surplus of CP to begin with. You have a lot of options that are all like right on the cusp of really, really good. It's just that you're looking at, hey, I'm salamanders. A lot of times I want to be able to, +1 to wound. I want to do things of that nature that I have to save CP for.
Yeah.
Effectively, when I'm planning my game, I go, here's 4 or 5 times I'm going to use this. Here's this. You know what I mean? So I never want to burn CP that I don't have to. So, but I am big on that. The biggest things on that, it looks like Custodes actually came out really big ahead also.
Yeah.
I guess, can we count them as Marines, or are they just Imperium as themselves?
Like
I mean,
they're
they're
the older bully brother of Marine, I guess, would be what they were. Yeah.
yeah. I think one of the biggest winners right now out of the Marines just came from the weapons, though.
Yeah.
For instance, there are 2 biggest things right now on my Salamander list. I love the, obviously, Flamers being 12 inches. Gives you so much tactical flexibility.
Yeah.
I think people are whining a little bit too much. Get the tears out of your eyes, big boys.
Poor
Aggressors. Yeah, but it's not poor aggressors, man. Take the Flamestorm gauntlets. You can still advance. You can literally advance, fire once. So you've got your move plus D6 plus a 12-inch flamer now. That's such a crazy distance. You know what I mean? Especially like in something like a Salamander when you have rerolls behind it. But anybody coming out of reserve now, you can just flame stuff. And flamers are consistent. They're auto-hitting. If you got a Flamestorm gauntlets, those are 2d6 per guy. You still have up to 36 hits. You know what I mean?
You can still do max hits, right? So that's
right.
still a thing.
You Flamecraft, 36 hits, boom, come out of reserve and literally take that 5-man unit of whatever, Harlequins, Infiltrators, well, not Infiltrators, because they would be more than that away. Yeah. Somebody that's not Infiltrators. But, whoever's the 5-man that's sitting in the back, I think that those guys got a big up. But I think the biggest thing that got out of this, and you didn't see a ton of them in local tournaments lately when we were showing the tournament scene, but I think Imperial Fists got a gigantic bump up. We've played some serious test games because Sniggs, actually, my playtest mojo master, he's an Imperial Fist guy. He loves them. And he played effectively Codex Heavy Bolter, or just Bolter, period. Holy shit, the 2 damage on the Heavy Bolters, it feels like the multi-meltas and everything else, makes like the bigger difference. But if you're just putting a volume of Heavy Bolters out there, man, it's because of that 2 damage, those add up so much, and they have obviously exploding 6s and strats that go along with it. They really, really feel like they're doing work, because you do a couple fails and you're like, oh, that's I failed 3, that's 3 wounds or whatever. You're like, no, man, that's 6. That might pull 3 guys right there. It really added up. Even on vehicles type stuff and things of that nature. That would be the thing that I see what gets the biggest nerf right now, by the way, is vehicle evidence.
So we kind of talked a lot about big winners. So who are the kind of the losers of the book?
The guys that are, well, they're not really the losers. I mean, the Dark Angels are getting their own thing soon, which is why they put it out. We know that Blood Angel's getting stuff. We know that Death Watch is getting stuff. So I think that Space Wolves, I mean, people were bitching a little bit about Space Wolves. I actually think the Space Wolves got a boost, actually. But everybody was upset because Wolfen got hit pretty bad right now, because they went from a 3-up save, 3-up invuln, to a 4-up invuln with a 3-up save with if you put the Storm Shield. You know, I mean, you're slapping those on. But they also lost the advance and charge, so I think they're a decent sized loser. But they're also getting a book immediately, so I think that anybody that's getting a book right now is going to take a little bit of a hit because they're not that worried about you having all of your special rules until you get your book. So I think that BA took a little bit of a hit. Sanguinor Guard and the Sanguinor are buffed up, I think, a little bit. But as a whole, when you went from an entire book of stratagems to 4, that's a big deal. Space Wolves, similar situation where you had the entire PA for them with the Beast, took a little bit of a hit. But I think that any of those guys are a little bit worse than they were before. I think that most of the mech armies are Marine-wise going to suffer, even though we got a lot of new things. But I think that's going to be more of a meta choice because of that. Right. Just more, I think that you're going to get a cyclical metal where you just, everybody got their pretty new toys that hurt vehicles a lot more, new multi-meltas, new, all the Kron weapons, all the, sisters, everybody that got, the ability to take more multi-meltas, more damage. You're going to see less of those until we get basically, it's one of its course when everybody takes tank weapons, and then everybody starts playing ground-based horde armies, and then I guess you don't need those multi-meltas anymore, kind of thing. Right, and that's exactly everything. Kind of just rides the wave and comes in. But I think in the beginning here, the biggest losers are going to be anybody that was playing a very heavy, like the Dreadnought armies and stuff like that, are going to be picked up pretty easily. Yeah, because you've got a lot of damage in the meta right now, for sure. Out of the Marine book, especially, just the new weapon changes themselves are going to be much, much different on that. Okay. Okay, so anything else? Any other big winners before we go on to our hidden gems? Some new jank that you can give us? Some new jank that I can give you? I gave you a little bit mojo. I mean, that inner circle thing is going to be just gross. It's really gross. I actually think the Sanguinary Guard's a big deal. Everybody's kind of just left that over, that they got a full, they're literally less points and have a full extra attack, man. They're already good. Also, their gun's 18 inches now instead of 12. So you're getting a little bit more out of them no matter what. So we'll do another full recap, basically look of a video on just the Marine stratagems and different combos for everybody that has out there right now. So... But I think that even though a lot of people don't like the model, I think the ATV vehicles are huge. The Apothecary with the ATVs, an insane combo. So good. Yeah, it is really good. It's scary good. Yes. What about Sense? I'm sorry, everybody, that I played Sense for so long. I literally, my phone was blown up with, I hate you, man. Why did you do this? I'm like, it wasn't just me. There was more than me playing all these Centurions. A lot of people playing Sense. Yeah, a lot of people spend a lot of money on Sense. They got busted. They got really hurt bad. They don't have core. They don't have the bolter. They don't have bolter discipline. That's huge, man. That halves their shots. Yeah. I mean, that's such a big deal. I mean, they're still close combat monsters, and they got 12-inch flamers now, but it's going to be difficult for their price point. They really didn't get much relief on that. I actually think that the heavy bolter Sense and maybe the heavy Sense actually are playable again, but right now the assault Sense seem like they got pretty roughed up. The elite slot got a little beat up. That the scouts and the Sense are sitting around playing euchre right now, wondering what the hell happened. They got we'll kill people for food. It was a good year. It was a good year. That feels pretty meh. Sorry about everybody that took Landspeeder Storms and got all excited about them because you throw those scouts in them and do nothing. They're going to be playing euchre with the Sense, I think. And that's how the scouts got there, to the euchre game. The Sense do have an inch more move, at least. They move 5 instead of 4, and that's a real thing. Yeah, but I think that's more of the heavies. I mean, I think the heavies are going to be playable. I think that another slight, under the radar hidden winner, we lost the Grav Scent, the Gravitronic Strat. Right. But Grav went to 2 flat damage against anything that has a 3+ save or better, and I actually like the consistency. Now, right? I was going to say 30 inches also. Yeah. Gained 6 inches of range, got flat damage against, obviously when you're shooting the Harlequins, it still doesn't do shit because it's 1 per, but
Right.
but the 2 flat damage really evens it out a lot. I mean, obviously you don't get the rerolls, you know what I mean? But having flat damage means a lot. I actually, another hidden gem. I think Power Fists are a big winner here. 2 flat damage there, and they're very cheap on most of the stuff. I haven't decided whether I like the heavy Thunderhammer yet, because usually you want to not run a big ass 2-handed weapon with something, but 4 damage is 4 damage. I mean, you are swinging for the fences at that point in time.
I mean, this is what you got. This is you.
I actually, any care, I haven't looked at the character options. Any character, I think, I would be interested in taking a Thunderhammer on that. Anybody that can give themselves full rerolls, or somebody can give them full rerolls on a heavy Thunderhammer, I feel like actually be pretty good. I thought about giving somebody heavy Thunderhammer, and just giving them all the buffs and just seeing how they could roll. They could roll out.
Right.
I am also hidden gem again.
Hidden gem.
Assault intercessors and outriders and stuff like that. All those Primaris guys that couldn't take sergeant upgrades can now take sergeant upgrades. So Thunderhammers, Power Fists, because I did think that was a major. Like, I use them primarily to hold objectives and stuff. But when you got hit with a unit of assault intercessors, especially as a salamander, a custodes, a sisters, if you're playing like Valor's Heart or something, where you could just ignore AP1, they usually bounced off you in the beginning there. You know what I mean? Even with a flurry of attacks, if you're rolling 2-up saves against them, they just bounce. Now with the sergeant being able to actually hit you with an AP3 weapon that does, that picks up a Marine basically, minimum 2. The flat 2 damage on the Power Fist is a huge deal too. It makes it way more steadfast. You basically get consistent damage out of it. So I really think that that's a go-to basically now. It's one of those weapons I'll really shoot to just because of the lower price too.
Right. Okay, we're kind of coming up to our time, believe it or not. But what does a Brad Chester Marine list look like now?
I'm going to take, right now, this is my first take on my Salamanders. I'm sticking with Vulcan because I think he looks sweet. Then I'm going to take the Chaplain on a bike, and I'm going to give him the Warlord trait for the T7, and then give him the Relic for -1. I'm going to take an Apothecary with Chief Apothecary. I'm going to take a unit of ATVs. I'm going to take a few units of Inceptors. I'm going to take probably still 9 Eradicators, whether I take them in 6-3 or whatever I take them on that.
Right.
And then I'm going to take at least 1 3-man unit of Aggressors, and I think I'm sticking with my tried and true 2 units of Infiltrators. I think they're more useful than they ever have been because of 12-inch flamers and things of that nature, so you can push people out and not just get punished on it. And then another 2 units of Assault Marines, and then I've got some points flipping around, with the new stuff there, because I'm going to make things fit. But my list didn't change a ton, but I think that the addition of like the ATV bikes, I'm going to try to fit in that as Vanguard Vets also with the jump pack there. So points are going to be in there with everything. I'm all over the place a little bit on the final version of that, but I've been really moving towards having a lot of fast elements in my army, and hard hitting, and then just basically things like Eradicators coming in from reserve a lot. And the thing is that I might actually put more stuff on the table just because of the fact that I have to choose my auras, choose who gets those full rerolls on the board. So that will change a little bit too. So whoever wants to reroll more than just ones is going to have to actually, start on the board itself.
Awesome. Stay tuned for more videos, everyone. Talk to you later.